It all started with steak and red wine. I walked into the candlelit restaurant thinking it was a romantic gesture. Claire had texted me earlier. Let's go somewhere nice tonight. I need to talk. After months of cold shoulders, fake smiles, and whispered phone calls in the bathroom, I thought, maybe, just maybe, she was ready to fix us. But then I saw him. Sitting at our table, smug in a navy blazer, his fingers already curled around Claire's wine glass. She was giggling like a teenager, brushing her hair behind her ear the way she used to do with me back when she gave a damn. I froze. Claire looked up, smirked like a fox cornered with no intention of fleeing, and said, "Brandon, meet Tyler." Tyler stood and extended his hand like this was some damn business meeting. I didn't take it. He sat down awkwardly. Claire didn't flinch. She picked up her glass, sipped it slow, and leaned in close to me across the table. "Listen," she said, like she was telling me about a weather report, "you'll never find someone better. So accept the betrayal and move on, or I'll take everything from you. Everything. Our house. My company shares. Even custody of our dog, Bailey." I didn't answer. I just smiled. And in that smile, I buried every sharp edge of the hell she had just tossed in my face. I took out my phone, texted one word to a man I trusted more than anyone alive. Start. That man was Jason, my bodyguard. Ex-military. Loyal. The kind of man who could quietly ruin your world without leaving a trace. I slipped the phone back into my coat and looked back up. Claire was swirling her wine like a villain in a bad movie. "You don't scare me," she said. "You're not the man you used to be, Brandon. You got soft. Predictable. Tyler makes me feel alive." I wanted to punch his face through the back of his skull. But I didn't. I watched. Memorized. Every tick. Every word. Because tonight wasn't about rage. It was about precision. Claire went on, oblivious to the weight of the storm I had just called down. "He listens. He's not boring like you. He doesn't spend nights at meetings or pretending your dumb startup matters. That dumb startup just hit 8 figures last quarter. She didn't care. She never did. She just wanted leverage. Control. And when she realized she couldn't manipulate me anymore, she brought a weapon to dinner. A pretty boy with white teeth and no clue what kind of woman he just stuck his D***ck in. I nodded once, stood up, and said, "Enjoy your meal." Claire blinked. Confused. "You're just gonna leave?" "Of course not," I said. "This is your night. Celebrate." Then I walked out. Calm. Controlled. But inside, I was a broken hurricane. Every memory of us came crashing down like glass. The way she used to wear my hoodie on Sunday mornings. How we danced in the kitchen when we still liked each other. The way she looked at me the day we bought our house. All of it, gone. Because behind all those moments was a calculating, selfish, hollow woman who didn't just cheat on me. She invited me to witness it. She wanted me to burn. But I had other plans. By the time I got home, Jason had already begun. Her bank accounts? Frozen. Her car? Towed. The apartment she secretly rented with Tyler? Lock changed. Lease canceled. His phone? Already cloned. And that was just the start. She wanted war? She forgot who taught her how to play. And tomorrow morning, when she wakes up in a city that suddenly hates her, with a lover who will be begging for a ticket out, I'll be watching. Not from anger. Not from revenge. But from clarity. Because tonight, Claire lit the match. And I brought the gasoline. I couldn't sleep that night. Not from heartbreak. From clarity. I sat in the living room, lights off, whiskey in hand, watching the security feeds from our house. Yes, I had cameras, installed after Claire's third girls' trip this year, where she came back with a new necklace and a tan she couldn't explain. I wasn't dumb. I just wanted confirmation before setting fire to the illusion. And there it was. 4 days ago. She thought I was in Chicago for a conference. The footage showed Tyler strolling in through the back door like he lived here. Shirt unbuttoned, smug grin on his face. Claire met him in nothing but my robe. She laughed, jumped into his arms. They didn't even make it to the bedroom. They went right there on the couch where we used to cuddle during snowstorms. My couch. My whiskey. My goddamn home. She brought that man into my life like it meant nothing. And the way she smiled after, laying on his chest like she'd won some prize, that's what finally cut through the numbness. It wasn't just the betrayal. It was the disrespect. The enjoyment. The way she weaponized intimacy. The way she paraded her lies like some kind of declaration of power. I forwarded the footage to Jason. His reply came seconds later. Noted. Phase 2 in motion. By morning, Claire's social accounts were shadow banned. Her influencer brand deals? Terminated with cause, thanks to a few well-placed leaks. Turns out companies don't love when their brand ambassador is caught on camera mocking fans and bribing a hotel manager for a free stay. Claire had always been careful in public, but I had the footage she thought no one recorded. And now, so did the world. But I wasn't done. I opened the safe behind my bookshelf, took out a thick brown folder I never thought I'd use, her financial skeletons. Credit card statements from stores she told me she only went to with friends, a receipt for a private couple's spa retreat in Aspen, booked under a fake name. She used my card. My money. I added it all to a drive, encrypted it, and mailed a copy to her father. The same man who shook my hand at our wedding and said, "If she ever betrays you, I'll deal with her myself." I doubt he meant it, but I'd love to see his face when he learns his perfect daughter was siphoning off our joint savings to spoil her boy toy. Claire had spun a web, sure, but I'd been walking through it quietly, collecting the strands. The final proof? A recording. It was 3 weeks old. Claire on a phone call, pacing the kitchen. "I don't care what Brandon thinks," she snapped. "He's not a real man anymore. I'll bleed him dry and leave him in a suit made of regret." I stared at that file for a long time before closing the laptop. Not because it shocked me, because it confirmed what I had finally accepted. She didn't love me. Not anymore. Maybe not ever. She loved the life I gave her. And now I was going to take it back, piece by piece. One thing was clear. This wasn't about saving a marriage. It was about making sure Claire never forgot the price of turning me into a fool. And it was only beginning. Claire came home late the next afternoon, humming like she'd just won a beauty pageant. She waltzed through the door wearing a new coat, clearly designer, and carrying a bag from a boutique I'd never even heard of. I was already sitting in the kitchen, laptop open, a single USB drive in the middle of the table. She stopped, noticed the silence, then saw the drive. Her smile twitched. "What's this?" she asked, trying to keep her voice casual. I didn't answer right away. I let her stand there for a moment, let the tension fill the room like gas waiting for a spark. Then I turned the laptop screen toward her and hit play. The footage of her and Tyler on the couch filled the screen. She froze. No gasp. No apology. Just a tightening of the jaw. After 30 seconds, she reached forward and slammed the laptop shut. "Seriously," she scoffed. "You went full spy mode on me? How pathetic is that?" I stood slowly, keeping my voice low and even. "You lied to me, Claire. Over and over. In my house. With my money. With my couch." She crossed her arms, scoffing like she was the victim. "So what? You think just because you pay the bills, you own me?" I was bored, Brandon. You made this life feel like a prison. I stepped closer. "A prison? I gave you everything. Freedom, trust, a future." She laughed. Actually laughed. "Yeah, and you expected me to worship you for it. You were predictable. Safe. You think women want safe?" My fist clenched, but I kept them by my sides. "No. I think women who want respect don't screw some gym bro in their husband's house and then invite him to dinner like it's a game." Claire rolled her eyes. "Tyler's not a gym bro. He actually listens. He makes me feel alive. You just make me feel trapped." That was the moment I realized she wasn't sorry. Not even a little. She wasn't ashamed. She was justified in her head. She had rewritten our entire marriage into a sad little script where I was the villain, and she was just the poor, bored wife looking for passion. She walked past me, poured herself a glass of wine, then turned with a smug grin. "I'm filing for divorce, Brandon. And I'm taking what's mine." I smiled then. The same smile I wore at that restaurant. "You already did," I said, nodding toward the USB drive. "That's you. Your lover. Your lies. Your voice calling me weak. I sent it to your dad. Your PR agent. Your brand sponsors. Oh, and Tyler's employer." Her eyes widened. "You're bluffing," she whispered. "Try me." She looked rattled, for the first time. You can't just ruin my life because I didn't want this anymore." I walked to the door, opened it, and gestured toward the street. Her car was gone. "What the hell?" she muttered, running past me. "Where is it?" "Towed. Registered in my name. Along with the house. The business. The accounts. I gave you comfort, Claire. You gave me a betrayal." She turned slowly, voice shaking with rage. "You're gonna regret this." "No," I said calmly. "You will." Her phone buzzed. A message from her dad popped up on the screen. "Call me. Now." "What the hell is all this?" She went pale. She turned to me, one last time, with a sneer. "You think this is over? You don't know what I'm capable of." "Oh, I do," I said. "That's why I've already planned for what comes next." She stormed upstairs, slamming the door. I sat back down, poured myself a drink, and felt nothing. No triumph. No grief. Just silence. And in that silence, I started to feel whole again. The storm didn't hit right away. Claire tried to act like she was still in control for the next 2 days. Strutting around the house in silk robes, still making smoothies in the kitchen, still humming while she curled her hair in the mirror. But the cracks were spreading fast, only now, she was the one trying to glue them back together. On the 3rd day, everything crashed. It was early morning when she barged into my office like a hurricane in heels, eyes wide, voice already at a full scream before I even looked up. "You sent everything to my sponsors. Do you have any idea what you've done?" She threw her phone at my desk. It slid across and hit the edge of my keyboard. On the screen, a message from one of her biggest brand deals. A termination letter. Immediate. Breach of contract due to moral misconduct. I leaned back in my chair, calm as stone. Actions have consequences, Claire. Didn't they teach you that at your fake little empowerment seminars? She stood there, fist clenched, shaking with fury. And something else too, fear. They're threatening a lawsuit. A lawsuit, Brandon. And Tyler's employer? Fired him. Fired him. I tilted my head. You should have read the employee conduct agreement before banging a married woman in her husband's living room. That's standard HR policy these days. She stormed forward and slammed her palms down on my desk. You're not a man. You're a damn psychopath. You just sit here smiling while everything falls apart. I met her eyes. No, Claire. You let it fall apart. I just stopped holding it up for you. She stared at me like she didn't recognize the man in front of her. And maybe she didn't. Maybe she forgot that before I became the guy who paid for spa weekends and planned anniversary trips, I was a street kid from Philly who built his empire with nothing but teeth, fists, and sleepless nights. And now that version of me was back. She stepped back like she needed space to breathe. I'll go to court. I'll get half. I laughed once, sharp. You signed a prenup, Claire. You forgot about that, didn't you? Her lips parted. She had. I stood up, walked around the desk, and stopped inches from her. You walked into this house thinking you could burn it down with a candle. You didn't realize the whole place was wired with explosives. And I've got the trigger. She slapped me. Hard. It echoed. I didn't flinch. She stepped back, chest heaving. You can't do this to me. I made you. You were nothing before me. That lie was the last straw. Get out, I said. My voice was low, steady. Go pack whatever dignity you have left and get the hell out of my house. She didn't move. So I pulled out my phone, dialed one number. Jason. A few minutes later, there was a knock at the door. Jason entered, calm, expression unreadable, like always. He nodded once. Claire's face twisted. You're really doing this? You're going to have me removed like some stranger? No, I said, stepping aside. Like someone who stopped being my wife the second she invited her lover to dinner. Jason didn't touch her. He just stood there, silent and massive, until she finally broke. She grabbed her purse, stormed up the stairs, and came back down 20 minutes later dragging 2 suitcases. At the door, she turned back. This isn't over. I smiled. It already is. She slammed the door. The silence afterward was the loudest thing I'd ever heard. And it felt like peace. The silence after Claire left wasn't peaceful for long. Because betrayal doesn't just hit you once. It echoes. It crawls out of the shadows when you least expect it, whispering lies in the middle of the night, asking if you were ever enough, if any of it was ever real. I sat in the kitchen 2 nights later, whiskey in hand, staring at the untouched chair across from me, the one she used to sit in every morning with her fake smile and carefully filtered life. The chair still smelled faintly like her perfume, that nauseating sweet floral scent that used to drive me crazy in all the right ways. Now it just smelled like rot. Bailey, our golden retriever, lay by my feet, his head on his paws, confused. He kept walking to the front door, whining quietly like he expected her to come back. I didn't have the heart to tell him that the person he missed never actually existed. That night, my phone buzzed. It was a message from Tyler. I didn't know she was married when we started. She said you were her brother. I'm sorry, man. I stared at the screen, trying to figure out if I was angry, amused, or just done. Her brother? I replied. Next time you walk into a stranger's house, maybe don't screw his sister on the couch. Lesson learned. No reply. I scrolled up through old photos of Claire. Her fake laughs, carefully posed selfies, the staged anniversary post with captions like, "Still can't believe I got this lucky ring 2 hearts." Now I knew she probably took those photos minutes after texting Tyler something disgusting from the bathroom. Everything felt like a lie wrapped in a pretty bow. The next morning, I met with my lawyer. Divorce proceedings were now officially in motion. Claire, through her attorney, requested mediation. She claimed she was being emotionally abused and needed immediate access to our joint assets for mental health support. I handed my lawyer the recording of her saying she was going to bleed me dry. He smiled. She's not walking away with anything but regret. Later that day, her father called me. Brandon, he started, voice low, ashamed. I don't know what to say. I raised her better than this. No, you didn't, I said calmly. You raised her to believe consequences don't exist. He was quiet. Then he said, if you ever need a character witness in court, call me. I'm with you on this. Claire's own family was turning against her. Not because I asked. Because they saw what I saw now, who she really was when no one was watching. But the pain didn't vanish just because I was winning. There were moments, brutal little flashes, when I remembered the good times. The road trips. The night we camped under the stars. Her tears when I proposed. Her shaking hands when we bought our first home. Moments that felt real. But now? Now I didn't know if she was acting even then. That's the thing about betrayal. It turns all your memories into weapons. Even the good ones hurt. And while the world she built was crashing down, one frozen bank account, one canceled contract at a time, I sat alone in my victory, wondering why it didn't feel like winning. But I wasn't done yet. Claire had shattered everything, then demanded applause for it. Now she was going to learn what it felt like to lose something you can't get back. And I had one final card to play. I waited until her pride got the best of her. 3 weeks after she walked out, Claire posted a video on her backup account. A weak, crocodile tear-filled attempt at reclaiming sympathy. Her face glowed under soft lighting, hair done, makeup flawless, wearing a plain white shirt like she was suddenly humble. I made mistakes, she sniffled. But I'm human. I was trapped in a loveless marriage. I didn't cheat. I escaped. That last sentence? It lit a fire inside me I thought was long dead. I didn't just feel rage. I felt insulted. She escaped? No, she betrayed. She humiliated me publicly, dragged a man into our bed, mocked me at dinner, and threatened to take everything from me. And now she had the audacity to pretend she was the victim? I watched the video twice. Then I sent it to Jason with a single message. It's time. The final move wasn't loud. It wasn't a scandal or a punch. It was a whisper in the right ears, a few forwarded clips, a handful of carefully selected screenshots of her text to Tyler, her mocking me in private chats, the call recordings where she plotted to fake emotional abuse for court sympathy. I didn't post them myself. That would be messy. But the internet? The internet has a way of sniffing out liars. Within 48 hours, her video had triple the views, but for all the wrong reasons. Comment after comment tore through her facade like wildfire. Didn't you sleep with your husband's employee? This you. Screenshot attached of her laughing about using men for money. You escaped? Or got exposed? Her second sponsor dropped her. Her PR firm released a statement of immediate termination of representation. And Tyler? Tyler filed a restraining order. Turns out, she was blowing up his life too, texting him 30 times a day, threatening to expose things about his past if he didn't take her back. He never replied. Smart move, for once. Then came the message that sealed everything. It was from Claire. She called. I let it ring. Then she texted. Congratulations. You won. Hope it was worth destroying someone you once loved. I stared at that message for a long time. Then I wrote back. No, I didn't destroy you. I just stopped protecting you. She left it on read. That night, I sat on the back porch with Bailey beside me, staring at the stars. For the first time in what felt like forever, I wasn't plotting. I wasn't calculating my next move. I was just breathing. Free. The house felt different now. Lighter. The air wasn't thick with tension and unspoken words. I replaced the furniture she tainted. Got new sheets. Scrubbed every trace of her from the walls. I even changed the locks, not because I was scared, but because I finally understood. Sometimes, the real danger isn't the stranger at your door. It's the one you let into your bed. I wasn't healed yet. Not fully. Betrayal leaves bruises you can't see. But I was standing. I was sleeping again. And every morning I woke up without her lies in my ears felt like a small kind of justice. Claire? She could keep playing the victim online. But I knew the truth. And so did the world now. The final move wasn't revenge. It was exposure. Because sometimes, letting people see the monster behind the smile is the best justice there is. You'd think after destroying the foundation of a life built on lies, there'd be peace. And there was. For a moment. But fire clears a forest. It doesn't heal it. The silence after Claire was gone grew louder with every passing day. Not the painful kind. The reflective kind. It's strange. Once the rage burns off, you're left staring at yourself in a mirror asking, what now? For the first time in years, I didn't have to check her schedule. Didn't have to cover for her mood swings or pretend not to notice her flirting with waiters. I didn't have to guess where she was at 11 p.m. when she said she was just grabbing wine with Rachel. Now I had time. Time to sit in a house I once thought we'd grow old in. Time to walk past the empty room where she kept her vanity table and remember how she used to sit there for hours fixing a face that was already beautiful, but never satisfied. Time to realize that I was in love with an illusion I helped create. And yet, despite everything, there was still grief. Not for her, but for who I thought she was. That's the cruelest part of betrayal. It doesn't just take away the person. It takes away the memories. The songs you danced to. The scent on your hoodie. The way she looked at you before you made your first million. All of it tainted. But something else started to grow in that wreckage. Me. I started working out again. Not to punish myself, but to feel again. To remember what it meant to take care of something I'd neglected. Myself. I reconnected with friends I hadn't seen in months. Some of them knew what was going on but stayed silent. Others admitted they suspected. But none of that mattered. What mattered was the conversations, the laughter, the reminder that life existed outside of her chaos. I even booked a trip to Montana of all places. Just me and nature. No phone. No news. No whispers of her name echoing in my inbox. Out there, under a sky untainted by her lies, I realized something important. She didn't ruin me. She revealed me. Revealed how much I tolerated. How far I'd been to make someone else comfortable while suffocating in silence. She showed me what I was willing to sacrifice for someone who wouldn't even flinch to see me bleed. And now? Now, I wasn't angry anymore. I was awake. I'd started therapy too. Not because I was broken, but because I needed help understanding why I let someone like Claire rewrite my worth for so long. The therapist asked me once, what was the moment you knew she didn't love you anymore? I thought about it, and I told her. When she invited me to dinner and smiled while sitting beside the man she betrayed me with. When she looked me in the eyes and said, you'll never find someone better. That wasn't just betrayal. That was declaration. That was her saying, I own your pain now. But she didn't. Because pain is just a tool. You can drown in it, or sharpen it into something that cuts back. I chose the latter. And as the weeks passed, my silence became something stronger than revenge. It became distance. And distance is the one thing a woman like Claire can't control. Because once you're out of her orbit, you start to see how small her universe really was. If you're reading this, and you're standing where I once stood confused, humiliated, furious, I want to tell you something that no one told me. You are not weak for loving the wrong person. You are not stupid for trusting her. You're not a fool because you believed in forever with someone who only believed in convenience. I used to lie awake at night, playing the reel in my head. The dinner, the betrayal, the way she laughed like it was nothing. And I'd wonder, was I blind? Was it all my fault? The answer is complicated, but honest? No, it wasn't. Claire didn't cheat because I lacked something. She cheated because she lacked everything that makes a person worthy of loyalty, accountability, empathy, discipline. She was a firework, loud, blinding, beautiful from a distance, and ultimately empty after it burns. I didn't lose a wife. I shed a parasite. And in her place, I found something more valuable than forgiveness or closure. I found me. I started writing again. Not for a blog, not for social media likes, but for me. Journals filled with thoughts I never said out loud during our marriage. Rage, yes, but also memories, regrets, lessons, like this one. You can't fix someone who benefits from staying broken. Claire didn't want to be saved. She wanted to be worshipped. She needed attention the way most people need oxygen. And when I stopped feeding her ego, she found someone who would for a little while. Tyler? He disappeared. Deleted all his socials, apparently moved states. Last I heard, he tried to apply for a job in a new firm, but my forwarded evidence got there first. HR flagged him. Turned him down. Claire left him in the wind the moment he became inconvenient. Classic. As for her, she's still trying to rebuild. Desperately. I've seen the fake apologies she's posted. The attempts to rebrand. But people remember. The internet doesn't forget. And karma, oh, Karma has a nasty habit of showing up late but in heels. I don't check her page anymore. I don't need to. Because I won. Not in court, not online. I won in peace. And waking up without a knot in my stomach. And knowing the house is mine again, quiet, real, sacred. And being able to laugh without wondering what it'll cost later. And holding Bailey and knowing that I'm finally protecting both of us from the storm that was her. So what would I tell the next man? Here's what. If she mocks you, manipulates you, makes you question your sanity, leave. If she crosses the line and tells you to accept the betrayal, burn the map and build a new world. If she brings her lover to dinner and dares you to stay quiet, smile, nod, and let her see what silence is capable of. You don't need revenge. You need dignity. You need to reclaim your time, your breath, your worth. And above all, you need to know that what she destroyed was never stronger than what she awakened in you. So go. Rebuild. Live better. Let her memory rot in the place where weak men drown and strong men rise. Because love didn't break you. It just handed you the knife. And now you know what to cut.